Hallelujah. We tell you thank you for all that you've done, all that you're doing in our lives, all that you have kept us from, all that you have spared us from. Father, we enter into your gates, into your courts, Father, with an attitude, Father, of gratitude, an attitude of thanksgiving, an attitude of thankfulness, Father. We enter, as your word says, into your courts with praise. Hallelujah. We enter into your gates with thanksgiving. Father, we thank you for keeping our lives, keeping us whole, keeping us healthy, keeping us safe from the hand of the enemy. Father, we tell you thank you. Before we ask you for anything, hallelujah, we tell you thank you. We want to give you all glory. We want to give you all praise. We want to give you all the honor, Father. We lift your name high. We magnify you. We love you. We praise you, God. There is none like you. Hallelujah, Father. You are great in all the earth, Father. You are the high and lifted up one. You are Jesus. You are our Savior. You are our keeper. You are our Redeemer. And for that, Father, we tell you thank you. Hallelujah. We thank you, Jesus. We tell you thank you. Hallelujah. We tell you thank you, Jesus. We tell you thank you. We tell you thank you. Glory to your name. We tell you thank you for being our protector. We tell you thank you for being our keeper. We tell you thank you for being our lover. We thank you for being our companion, our keeper, our coverer. Father, we just let's take a moment and we tell you thank you. Even in your home, begin to open your mouth and tell God thank you. Even as you're sitting on your couch, sitting in your bed, tell God thank you. Because it could have been another way. We tell you thank you because we could be sick, we could be dying, we could be without food, without shelter. But Father, because we have all these things, because you have been a God of provision for us, we lift our hands, we open our mouths, with our heart full of praise and thanksgiving, we say thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. God, we thank you. We love you. Hallelujah. Now, Father, we pray that as we are gathered here as your people, we pray first and foremost, God, that you forgive us of every sin. Wash us and purify us. Cleanse our hearts. Cleanse our minds. In the name of Jesus. Cleanse our spirits. God, of anything that will hinder us, God, from being in your presence, being your children. In the name of Jesus. Purge us, oh God, according to your word. In Psalms 51, you said, if you would purge us with hyssop, we'll be white as snow. So, Father, we pray that you purge us in the name of Jesus. Wash our minds in the name of Jesus. Wash our hands. The word said, who shall ascend the hill of the Most High? He that hath clean hands and a pure heart. So, Father, purify our hearts in the name of Jesus. In this time of uncertainty, Father, purify our hearts. Purify our spirits, God. Purify our intentions. Purify our motives, God. In the name of Jesus. Wash us in your blood. In the name of Jesus. Sanctify us again, oh God. In the name of Jesus. Call us back to yourself. In the name of Jesus. Hallelujah. For your word says in Romans 13, Father, we have to awake out of sin because our salvation is nearer than when we first believed. So, Father, call us out of sin. Call us out of darkness. Call us out of our wayward ways. In the name of Jesus. So, Father, now we pray for our country, for our nation, for our cities, for our state, God, for our local assemblies. Father, we pray for every person that will hear this clip, this video, Father. We pray that you would send healing in the name of Jesus. We pray, Father, that you would send deliverance in the name of Jesus. We pray, Father, that you would send covering in the name of Jesus. We pray, Father, that you would send your hand of healing. For your word says, God, you sent your word and you healed us. So, Father, we send your word to every person that is sick, to every person that is downtrodden, to every person that has been affected by the corona disease. Father, we pray that we send your word and you will heal in the name of Jesus. Hallelujah. In the name of Jesus, we pray, Father, that your word go forth, your healing hand go forth even now and touch every sick, touch every feeble mind. In the name of Jesus, every feeble body and heal in the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus, Father, we thank you that you're going to heal. We thank you that you're going to deliver. We thank you that you're going to set free. We thank you that you're going to loose the bound and set the oppressed go free. In the name of Jesus, Father, we pray now for your body, your saints, your believers, your church at large. We pray, Father, according to your word in 2 Corinthians 7 and 14, you said, if my people, which are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray, seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, and I will forgive their sin, and I will heal their land. Father, we pray that the body repents in the name of Jesus. We pray that the body comes back to you in the name of Jesus. We pray that the body seeks your face. We pray, God, that the body humbles itself. Call us, God, to understand that we are not what we think we are. In the name of Jesus, call us to see where we are from your eyesight, from your perspective. In the name of Jesus, call us to humble ourselves, and that we may pray, that we may seek your face. God, we call us not to seek just your hand, not just your blessing, not just what you you to do for us. God, will cause us to seek your face. Cause us to see what you are saying in this season. Cause us to see what you are saying through this corona disease. Cause us to see what you are saying for the body of Christ, that we can be effective in this world, that we can be effective in this end time, that we can be effective in everything that you have called us to do. We pray now, God, that as we go in the furtherance of this service, pray now, God, for the word of God. We pray that the anointing be there. Father, we pray that you bless the speaker, bless our leader, Father, to speak on the anointing of God, to speak as the oracles of God. In the name of Jesus, cause him, God, to be able to boldly to stand and declare everything that you have given him to say. We pray, God, that you give him clarity of speech, clarity of thought, clarity of understanding, God, of what it is that he has to do in this season, in this time. We pray, God, for his strength. We pray, God, for his covering. In the name of Jesus, we pray that you bless the hedge of protection around him. In the name of Jesus, bind the hand of the enemy that will come to torment, that will come to distract, that will come to deter. In the name of Jesus, we not only pray this for our leader, but for every leader, Father, every leader in the body of Christ, every pastor, every bishop, every apostle, Father, every leader. We pray, God, that you keep their minds in the name of Jesus, keep their hearts, keep their spirit in the name of Jesus. Bind the hand of the enemy that will come to distract them, Father. Bind the hand of the enemy that will come to deter them. Bind the hand of the enemy, Father, that will come to hinder the progress of ministry. In the name of Jesus, we pray, God, that you keep their bodies healthy, keep their bodies whole, keep their bodies safe from the attack of the enemy. In the name of Jesus, even through these uncertain times, Father, we get reports of leaders dying all across the country. But Father, we pray that you keep the leaders safe, keep the leaders whole, keep the leaders healthy. In the name of Jesus, every leader, Father, keep them covered in your blood. In the name of Jesus Christ, we pray. We thank you for all that you're going to do. We thank you for all that you are doing in our lives, in our sanctuaries, in our families, in our homes. Father, we pray lastly that as we go back to our homes after this service, Father, give the people, give your saints a mind to pray in their homes. Give them a mind to seek your face in their homes. In the name of Jesus, not just to sit around because we're quarantined, but Father, give us a mind to seek your face. Give us a mind to pray. Give us a mind to do Bible study. In the name of Jesus, we thank you for all that you're going to do in this time and in this season. We thank you for a revival that is going to hit the body of Christ after this coronavirus, after this pandemic. Father, we thank you for all that you're going to do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
the Gospel of St. Mark, the 6th chapter and the 45th verse, and a few following verses. And it reads thusly: And straightway he constrained his disciples to get into a ship and to go to the other side, before unto Bethsaida, while he sent the people away. And when he had sent them away, he departed into the mountain to pray. And when eve was come, the ship was in the midst of the sea, and he was alone on the land. Verse 48, And he saw them toiling and rowing, for the wind was contrary unto them. And about the 4th watch of the night he came unto them, walking upon the sea, and would have passed them by. But when they saw him walking upon the sea, they supposed it had been a spirit, and cried out. For they all saw him and were troubled. And immediately he talked with them and said unto them, Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. In that 48th verse, it referenced the 4th watch of the night. That about the 4th watch of the night, he cometh unto them. I want to talk from this theme, the 4th watch of the night. The 4th watch of the night. The 4th watch of the night. The night was divided by the Romans into 4 watches. The first watch was from sunset, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. The second watch was from 9 p.m. to midnight. Third watch was from midnight to 3 a.m. And the 4th watch was from 3 a.m. to sunrise, or I might say the new day. The 4th watch is when life is at its darkest in emotional terms, when no hope seems apparent, when we come to our wits' end. But in the lesson there is, in that 6th chapter, Mark, verse 47 to 51, an encouraging parallel between our present plight and the story of the text, in terms of crises and in terms of storms. The disciples were having a hard time in their boat. The wind was against them, the text said contrary, and they toiled in their rowing. It was night. They were afraid, and Christ was not with them. What an apt picture of our life today. Today, the winds are contrary. The winds are against us, and we are toiling in our rowing. It's dark. We are afraid. Christ seems not to be with us. Other things that suggest to me that we are in the 4th watch of the night. Carl James, an eminent psychiatrist, said the central neurosis of our time is emptiness and fear. The ABCs of our day: A, anxiety; B, bewilderment; C, crisis. We're living in a time of anxiety, of fear, of uncertainty, insecurity, and crisis. The crisis of confidence in our national leaders. the energy crisis, the economic crisis, the constitutional crisis, the political crisis at home and abroad. A popular magazine recently carried an article describing the decline of traditional values. It spoke of the disappearance of the absolutes, which served as an underpinning of our society. The article aptly titled, "Bespeaks the Chaos of Today," quote unquote, everything nailed down is coming loose. We are drifting like a great rudderless vessel without a course or pilot. Well, welcome to the fourth watch of the night. Welcome to the darkest part of the night before dawn. Welcome to the last days that Jesus spoke about. The fourth watch is the darkest part of all. But there's some gospel in the text. It's not only the darkest part, but it is also the period of the time just before the new day. No doubt we're living in the fourth watch. The prophet said, the prophet Isaiah, in the chapter 21, verse 11, "Watchman, what of the night?" The watchman answered, "The morning cometh, also the night." What a oxymoron. What a predicament. The morning cometh, but also the night. He says, yes, the morning will dawn. The morning means the return of Christ. This is some eschatological truths here. The morning will come, the return of Christ. But the night is not over. He's saying it will get darker before it gets lighter. He's saying it will get darker before the new day. It will get darker before the sunrise. In the lesson, Jesus commands his disciples to get in a boat and go over to the other side of the lake. And when God said go over, he's speaking also with a sense of destiny. And I hasten to add that when Jesus says go over, you can't go under. The scripture says here in that 45th verse that he constrained them, which means he compelled them to go over. And one of the reasons he compelled them to go over to the other side of the sea is because he did not want them to become too attached to this side. And because there are two sides to everything. The call to the other side is the call to leave the crowd. Oh my goodness. Jesus is trying to teach us how to get along without the crowd as well as with the crowd. We like to go where the crowds are. We like the approval of the crowd. Yes. The crowd controls our thinking, our mores and our morals. It determines where we go, what we do, what we wear, our language. But there comes a time that we must break away from the crowd. Our destiny, and go to the other side, because our destiny is on the other side of the lake. Our destiny is on the other side of the river. This is the Sea of Galilee, small sea, 13 miles long, 7 miles wide, but it can produce a great storm. And then storms depicts life because they are unpredictable and uncertain. The life is uncertain. Just like the sea, sometime rough and sometime calm, sometime up and sometime down, sometime we're happy, sometime we're sad, sometime we're sick, and sometime we are healthy. It depicts our helplessness. When you get out on the sea, you are helpless. Your feet can't grab, your hands can't grab, and your feet can't get a toehold. You are in a helpless position. But the text says it was a perfect night. I want to tell you how storm suddenly comes upon us. It was a perfect night. The stars were shining, a soft wind was blowing, and then suddenly the hurricane. Suddenly the storm was blowing, the wind was blowing. Riding high in May, shut down in June. The poet says, life is filled with swift transitions. The text says, time is filled with swift transition. Naught of earth unmoved can stand. Build your hopes on things eternal. Hold to God's unchanging hand. In these times of transitions and shiftings, hold to God's unchanging hand. Build your hopes on things eternal. Storms are inevitable. Life, I've discovered life is filled with God-appointed storms, diseases, disasters, pandemics, viruses, death. And then what about the storm of interruptions? We are in a storm of interruptions. We are in a storm of irritation. Listen to the text as it speaks to us. It says it was a time of darkness, and it was not dark. It was a time of danger, and the sea arose. It was a time of distress, and they were afraid. But in the midst of the darkness and the danger and the distress, it was also a time of discovery. And I believe this, that our greatest discoveries of God comes in times of darkness, in times of danger, in times of distress. It was a time of discovery. Be of good cheer. It is I. Dale Burners said that human extremities is the frequent meeting place with God. Well, let's put it like this. What governments can't do and what scientists cannot do, ain't nothing left but God. When we get beyond government and scientists, ain't nothing left but God. They was in the midst of the sea. That means that they were about 3.5 miles out into the Sea of Galilee, because the Sea of Galilee was 7 miles wide, and it was going across to the other side. And they were literally in the midst of the sea. And it was a place beyond redemption's point. One thing I've learned this, and we need to learn it as well, we must learn to discover and recognize God in our storms. Whatever storm you're going through right now in your life, God is there, but you have to recognize His presence. Yes, He was there all the time, but they thought He was a ghost. He was there, but they thought He was a ghost. Text somebody, call somebody on the phone, and tell them we must resist the negative ghosts of life. We see ghosts instead of Jesus, the ghost of our worst fears, the ghost of imaginations, the ghost of wrong thinking, the ghost of darkness and doubt, the ghost of negativeness, the ghost of doom and gloom, the ghost of fear. We must look beyond these ghosts and see Jesus. The ghost of fear, Paul tells us in the 2 Timothy 1:7, He said that God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Our personal fourth watch, we in it. It's dark. There's a feeling of being overwhelmed by our circumstances and our trials and our tribulation. But when our trials seem to go on indefinitely, we should not assume that God does not hear our prayers, or that he does not care, or that we are unworthy. Perhaps the reason he has not showed up is because we have not yet reached our personal fourth watch. Because you know he shows up at the fourth watch. It may not be dark enough. The wind may not be contrary enough. It will get worse before it will get better, but he will show up in the fourth watch. The poet says, you can't hurry God. No, no, no. You have to wait, trust, and give him time. He may not come when you want him, but he's always on time. He's always on time. He's always on time. He's the slowest man that has never been late. He's an on-time God, the poet read. Then we read that in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went under them, walking on the sea. That's when he comes. At the dire moment, he comes. Some of them may ask, why didn't he come right away? Why didn't he come before the storm got so bad? Or at least during the second watch or the third watch? But the text says he waited until the fourth watch. Well, I have some thoughts on that. I believe that Jesus waited till the fourth watch because he wanted them to exhaust their resources and their ingenuity. And realize that there was no way out other than through Jesus. And I believe that's what America, the United States of America, and the nations of the world have to come to the conclusion that we must exhaust our mental prowess and our resources. And when we recognize that it's a God thing, then he will show up in our fourth watch. When we get to the end of ourselves. Oh, I'm getting happy. When we get to the end of ourselves, it's the beginning of God. Can I say that again? When we get to the end of ourselves, it's the beginning of God. When we come to the end of ourselves, Jesus always shows up. And you know, when he shows up, he's going to show out. And so this entire text and theme and scene is a picture of our world today. We are on the sea, a tempestuous sea. We're in the midst of a storm. Yes, we're in the midst of a storm. We're in the midst of a storm. The disciples, in the midst of that storm, was about to learn the greatest lesson. The greatest lesson that they could ever receive. And that truth that Jesus was in the storm. He will come. He will come. He did not remove them from that storm, but came to them in that storm. Oh, what an application. It is that if he doesn't get us out of it, he'll join us in it. That he came to them walking on the sea. There's a powerful passage in of Romans, Paul speaks to us very pointedly in the 8th chapter, in the 35th verse, and it makes the case for the text that he is with us in the storm. Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or peril or sword?